All right, yo, what's up? Welcome to episode 10 of Nest Talk. This is your host, Theslykrow, and this is the show where we talk about some of the big gaming headlines and what's trending in the gaming media. And so I'm here with my man from the UK, Joker Gamer V3.
What's up, people? And thank you again, Krow, for having me back on the show. What's up, Windu?
What up?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's always a fun time, and I'm here with my good friend, WinduTheMace.
What's up, homies? Appreciate you having me back. We're chilling.
Yeah. All right, so just the FYI, guys, Agent Deli is on vacation at the moment, so I hope he has a good one. So he won't be able to make it this episode, but we're trying to we're still trying to put out a good show for you guys. So it's definitely looking like a good one with the topics that we have right here. And so
Can I
once it,
just say, before you start off, bro, I am jealous of Deli that he's on vacation. I wish I was on
Oh, he
vacation, bro.
chilling, bro.
I was
Yeah, for sure.
6 days straight at work, right? I'm fucking exhausted, and this man is like, I'm on a vacation. Like, GG, bro.
You know what's weird? I can just imagine Deli walking around his apartment with a Hawaiian shirt on and a slice of pizza and some sunglasses. He's like, "Hey man, don't fuck with me. I'm on vacation." Oh man.
Hey, but listen, he's been crunching for a long time now, so he definitely needs the time off. And
True.
so hopefully he has a good one. And it's gonna be about a week vacation, so hope he has fun there. Yeah, so welcome to episode 10, and the title here is it time to fold? This is the title of the episode, and it's kind of a pun intended, as we did have a source from Valve which claims that the Steam Deck will aim to target 30 frames per second at 800p for current and upcoming games, and this has some of the gaming community in shambles right now, as I guess this is like the PC elitists are kind of downplaying it now, saying that, oh, is this system really worth getting? Is this the Switch Pro that we wanted? So they're a little bit downplaying that. So we're going to be having that conversation a little bit later on this episode. But for now, let's start off with some of the games that have been released. And so a game that did release recently was Death's Door. This was a AAA indie game by Devolver Digital. And this is such a really dope indie game. This is like a Metroidvania meets a Zelda type of game. And it's like a top-down action dungeon crawler, and you have to you have to go into many different sections of the map, and you're basically you're playing as a little crow. You're like designated as a reaper, trying to kill off these dungeons just to make the world a better place. And it definitely gives me some Hollow Knight vibes. It's like a Metroidvania meets kind of like Bastion as well. This is like a really really good AAA indie. Like if you think about like all the attention to detail and like uh the
Looks
attention
good.
the attention to detail of this game is just insane. The level of animations and things like that. So have you guys looked into this game at all?
So go ahead, Joker.
Yeah. So no, not really. I haven't actually paid much attention to it because it didn't even hit my radar. To be honest with you, let me just put it that way. And second thing is, I did like after we discussed looking through the thing that you're just saying, I just pulled it up on my PC, right? And I can actually see some screenshots that like certain levels. I'm guessing. To be honest
Okay.
with you, game looks good. Game like the animation, the artwork looks brilliant, right? Just don't know how much of the thing it vibes to me because I'm not a big top-down dungeon crawler player, right? I do play it only for certain games that hits my radar. I'm like, oh, this looks good. But since this didn't hit my radar, I'm like, I don't know. I got like a mixed vibes off of it. But the art, animation, the whole level details look nice. It looks good, bro. It looks good. And also, be honest, Crow, you chose this game because there's a crow you're
I
controlling
was
and
so
running
gonna say
around.
that, bro. I was like, is that the
Yo.
reason why this one's first, bro? Get me out. I was
No, for
waiting
real,
to say
like a
that.
lot of people are saying this is their game of the year right now. Like how
Got
good
very
it
good
plays.
reviews. It's
Yeah.
got very, very good reviews.
Yeah, I can
And
see
I,
that it's got 83 out of 100. Like, oh, that's
well,
um.
like here's my thing on it. Like it looks very good. It
Mhm.
looks appealing, puzzles, etc. I
Mhm.
really, really enjoy that style of art as well, right? My my main issue is this. I would never play a top-down dungeon crawler unless it's on mobile, for example. Like that for me is
Exactly.
like my mobile go-to. Like, bro, I'll walk around with this up, down, left, right, but I'm actually can only move diagonal, so I gotta like hit both of them at the same time and struggle, sort of deal back in the day. Like, I would prefer it to be on mobile, but then at the same time, it is also a $20 purchase. I
Mhm.
don't in a day and age where I can get a lot for $20, it might be an amazing game, but I'm very reluctant to spend those $20 without any certainties that I'm going to enjoy it. Like it's like, yo, if this does get game of the year, I'll spend the $20 is the way that I feel.
It it
TBH.
kind of it kind of it looks like it's meant to be played on a portable handheld, right? I don't know. It's just
The
I get the
UI
vibe
gives
of
off that impression.
yeah. So, like for example, it'll be great to play it on a Switch if you own a Switch. It'll be great to play on a Nintendo. Sorry, freaking Steam Deck,
Yeah,
right?
like we
Yeah,
just brought
yeah.
it up. That would be a
Mhm.
cool addition for a Steam Deck. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that's super high graphically demanding. It's
Mm-hmm.
more like we said, like a dungeon crawler and entertaining and stuff. And even though we're gonna get into later about the Steam Deck itself, I
Mm-hmm.
think that would if you get a Steam Deck, having games like that in your library would be a nice addition.
Yeah, that's very true. And yeah, man, like to be honest with you, I would not play this on a PC or a console. The
Really?
simple fact is that yeah, no, it's not that it's my personal preference, right? Because when I want to play on my PC or on my console, I just want something that's full screen, like third person behind the character camera where I can see the whole environment, just puts me completely immersive into it. Whereas this is a top down, right? And I just want to just it feels like I'm just playing another puzzle game, which I can do that on my phone, and I can do it on my portables if I do, like whoever owns the portables. And
I think it's
I
more of a
just want to
fixed
be
camera.
able, yeah. And I think I also like the fact is that if it's on a portable, I can chill on my bed and I can just play this game. Like this is like more like a time where you want to just relax, vibe out, watch a movie, TV, or something like that at the same time. Have like a TV in the background noise and play this just to keep yourself entertained on a very boring day, kind of a thing, just to keep it going. Or like if you're traveling, for example, and you're on a
Now,
flight.
let me now be honest with me. If you saw this game, would you rather spend $20 in this or $20 on Pokemon?
Pokemon. I'm
Huh?
honest to it straight up.
I'm
Straight
saying,
up.
no, I'm just saying, top down, fixed camera angle. What, like, if I tell you, play old school Pokemon Ruby Red or this, which one are you doing?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a big Pokemon fan, so you know what I
That's
mean.
what I'm saying.
If
I
it's
like
a,
honestly, it's just the uncertainty and the $20 paywall
Mhm.
is rough. Like, I'll be real with you. As far as the developer Acid Nerve, I don't really know too much about them. It's not like some other developers where they release a new product and you're sitting here like, you know what? I'm kind of sus, but I trust their previous games. I'm gonna take a lunge for it. You feel me?
yeah, I
Like
feel that. I feel that.
that's what I'm saying. If you were to spend $20 on another similar game from a different studio, I honestly feel like another studio might get my $20 faster. if they have other games with other reputations.
You
So
guys carry on 1 second. I need to check my door. I feel like
Do
it's
you think,
open.
bro?
okay, no worries.
Do you
So
think?
for me, this is like a AAA indie, and this the last time I've ever experienced a AAA indie was Supergiant's Bastion. Have you
So let me
guys
ask you. I was gonna ask you, what do
have you
you
guys
when you
actually
say
played
triple?
Bastion?
What do you mean? I haven't.
So
I haven't.
No,
yeah, Bastion is
I haven't played it.
another really good game by Supergiant. That's like a AAA indie. So what I mean by that is like if you think about like how tight the controls are, how tight the combat is, like the animations are very clean
Mhm.
and very polished. Like that's what I mean by AAA indie. And
So
so
it's
I
like an
would
indie that release a AAA product, basically.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
So things like Hollow Knight was another great example as well. Like well animated, the art style is really well done. So things like that. And this really gives me Hollow Knight vibes. Like you meet some interesting characters along the way, like and also the boss design is like well done in this game. Like the boss AI, like they did such a crazy good job with the all the boss patterns and all the different enemy types you get to face. So it is a pretty challenging game. It's kind of like has a Dark Souls element to it. It's like a Dark Souls meets Zelda.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can see a lot of people who love this kind of games actually spending money on it, right? Like, to be honest with you, my girlfriend, I think she bought a stupid ass color matching game, right, for £5. I'm honestly telling you, she just loves anything. And this is just basically a character goes around. It's a point and click game, right? It's a point and click game. It's puzzle style. If I get her this game and if I give it to her, she will absolutely love it. Right? It's just like I said, it's personal preferences on the people. If people love
Yeah.
this, they will actually spend the money on it to play the game.
That's a good point. There's a whole market for dungeon crawlers, by all means. There's a whole
Mhm.
market for people that love games like Zelda and such. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Animal Crossing was incredibly successful and nobody saw that shit coming, to be
Yo,
honest.
tell me about
So,
it.
but I literally just pulled up a live broadcast of the developer playing it. And he's on one of the bosses right now. And I'll be honest, it looks really, really smooth. It
Hmm.
looks smoother than a lot of other dungeon crawlers in the past have,
That's what I
including
was.
past Zeldas. I will say that.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I did watch a little bit of gameplay on this. The art, the graphics, the way it's controlled, the gameplay fluidity looks really good. And let's be honest, the intricacies on developing a game is a difficult task, and I think they actually did a pretty good job with it when it comes to like watching the gameplay itself, right? So yeah, man, all fair to them. Like, if they think this game is worth $20, £16.99 for me, um, it's if the customers enjoy playing these kind of games and if they think that this is worth it, all fair to them. But for me, it never, like I said, it never hit my radar. So I don't know anything about it. I just found out because we were doing a discussion about this. And till then, I wouldn't personally pay for it myself because it's just not the kind of game that I really enjoy playing.
Okay. Yeah, so actually the funny thing is that there are a lot of different crows you meet in this game, and there is actually like a hub area, and like there's a lot of fan service for crows, man. Like
Hey,
it's like
that's
a
a fan
gangster.
service for you. It's a fan
Yeah, it's
service for you.
about time a game featured a
Lord.
badass crow in a game, so it's pretty
Now,
cool.
It's
I'm
fair.
curious. Do you know if you can customize that crow? Because if you can customize that crow, I'll be honest. That like I'm definitely the guy that was like, "Hey man, when they gave me an option to customize shit on Link, like the different shields and shit, I'm like, they got me. Yeah, I might
Mm.
have to play this here. They got me. You know?
Windu's a
I'm
big
I'm
skins
I'm also
guy.
that guy, dude. I'm also that guy that bought Rainbow Six Siege and immediately, before I even started my first game, already had a character skin and gun skin and everything. Because I was not about to go in there as a basic. So
Alright,
I'm
I
assuming
got
there's
us.
monetization options in there on top of the original sale, but I could be wrong. Do we know?
Is there
Well,
microtransaction?
no. There's no, not at all. This is an indie game, so there's no
Oh, okay.
like microtransactions. So what are you when you're talking about customizability, like it's not like a Zelda where you get like you can upgrade your shield, you can get like a Hylian shield, you can get a better sword or things like that. But there is like a soul system, so enemies that you kill drop souls, and it's kind of like an RPG system. You can upgrade your
Like
strength,
an
your
upgrade.
dex, your speed, and
Okay.
like your magic power and things like that. So there's a different like play styles you can do. Like you can do a magic build, like you can go like full on magic. For me,
Full
what I'm
attack
doing right
speed and
now is
shit.
I'm actually doing an attack speed build. So I'm doing like a ninja build. So
Of course, bro. It's attack speed. Attack speed dominates most of the fucking games.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks very well put together. So they're doing the thing as an indie game. They're doing a fantastic job with it.
Add to wish list.
yeah,
It's
definitely
like
get it on sale. It's definitely
I was
worth
about
your
to say,
time.
like, yeah, like a summer sale or something. Like, yo, honestly, $10, yeah, why not? Let's do it. 10, $15,
yeah,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the
I'm a
game
bargain
is
shop.
about 18 hours of gameplay, so you're definitely getting a lot of money worth there. And
Yeah,
there's
for an indie,
also
that's not bad.
yeah, and I've also heard that there's also an end game, post game content, so there's a lot more things you can do post game.
oh,
So
okay.
that's pretty interesting.
So
Like
so it's not
replayability
just
and such.
that's interesting though. No, I might have to buy this game for my girlfriend just to keep it there.
All right, so moving on, we're going to be talking about another indie that a lot of people seem to have had high praise for.
Mhm.
And so that's Tribes of Midgard. And so this is advertised as a survival RPG meets a Diablo Wave fighting game. So this is also a top-down game, and so you play as a Viking. It is set in Valhalla,
Mhm.
in one of the regions in Valhalla. So yeah, the basic premise is that you go around in this world, you try to find materials, and you use these materials to help build defenses in your village and survive against lots of waves that attack the town. So
You yeah, got to carry
sorry,
on. Carry
sorry. Yeah, so this is a lot of people have been saying like this is like a Don't Starve meets Diablo. It's a very interesting, combination. But they've also been saying that the solo experience is really crappy. So, like, how it works is that it's like a team-based PvE system where people can join your server, and so there's like about like 20 people, I believe, or something around that number on the map. And so what you do is you try to coordinate with your team to farm for resources, and that's how you can build weapons. You can build defenses against the waves of enemies.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that the survival aspect of it. Most of the survival games, you can always join in servers, do co-op, and so yeah, they implemented survival aspects to it. Um, but you had me sold at Vikings, Valhalla style. I'm like, yeah, bro, yeah, he sold me there because I'm a big fan of Norse mythology, things like that, right? So anything to do with it, like just Viking things, I guess.
It gives me a vibe of like top-down RPG with a Borderlands type of, animation vibe to it. Like how everything is animated, high contrast lines and stuff like that.
Oh, like
Like,
the cartoony.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like you had me sold at Vikings, the whole Valhalla things. Again, it's a top down. Like I will play top down if I'm really into it. Like I said, it's not the kind of thing that I personally play. Do you know what I mean? But since it's got Viking in it, yeah, I'm gonna add it to my wish list. I'll
seems
definitely add
cool.
it to my wish list. Um, but apart from that, when you said the solo experience is crappy, what do you exactly mean by that? Like, does it not have enough content, or is it difficult to play, or
Yeah, so
Well,
based on this review that I've read on Steam, on Steam, if you notice, there's a mixed reviews. As
mhm.
I think most of the people there they are playing solo, and like they're saying that the solo experience is really crappy. Like they're saying that the best way to go is you gotta like team up on Discord and to coordinate like where you're going, which things you're farming, to defend the waves. So
So,
so I believe this user review he said that like it's a very time conscious like farming event that you have to do, like you get to nighttime very quickly in this game. So the things that you farm, the things that you do, you explore in this world is very time conscious. So like you gotta be like very smart on where you're farming and things like that.
um,
see, I'll be real. When I hear reviews like that, it almost makes me feel like there is a lack of progression system.
mm,
Because oftentimes for a solo player, you don't have that engagement with other individuals. So there has to be something to thrive for. There's a reason why a lot of successful RPGs have such an expansive progression system. That way you can build, like you're so entertained and upgrading yourself, you don't realize that there isn't anybody around you, right? But if you need other people to fully get the max out of this game, I mean, bro, the three of us could sit here and play tic tac toe for 3 hours and have a blast.
uh,
That doesn't
that's
mean
very
tic tac toe is a good game. You feel me?
true. True. True.
So
That's a very good. That's a very good
I
analogy.
it worries me to hear that. TBH.
And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, sometimes reviews do kind of put people off because some people just go in there for solo experience, particularly, right? They don't want, they like, they some of them are introverts, right? And they don't want to play with other players. They just want to keep it to themselves. They just want to go ahead and do things. And
Mhm.
as a solo player's perspective, it does, like Windu said, it does worry me a little bit just before purchasing it. Like, hey, I do like to play solo games sometimes, but I love co-op games, but I do love to play solo games sometimes, and there's just like,
Mm.
So
Yeah, so I'm gonna read a snippet of one negative review.
mhm,
And so this is the time aspect of the game. And so he says, whether you play solo or with people, the days last 10 minutes, real time. And this
right.
includes the daytime, the preparation time, and the nighttime. The nighttime takes up more and more time of the day the further you get into the game. The entire day being night or on day is 14 to 15 minutes. So nighttime is when your village gets attacked, and the day is when you go out for the
Yeah, I
resources
got that.
and discover the shrines and things like that.
So you're basically getting a battle every 15 to 20 minutes. Which I mean, ideally for any game in general, 15 to 20 minutes worth of combat, and then maybe the combat's over 20 to 30. And sorry, not 15 to 20 worth of combat, just 15 to 20 game time. And then the combat itself starts and ends about 20, 30 minutes after. And then it's a cycle. I mean, as far as time frame, it's not too bad. But I do almost feel like that might be a little bit on the grindy mode. Like one of the things that does make successful horde games very popular is the lack of preparation. I don't know if I like the fact that you're giving me 15 minutes to farm, loot, and everything just to fight, just to farm, loot again, and just to fight. You get what I'm saying? As a solo player, that can get repetitive as hell.
That's true. That's true.
And then it gets harder as you survive. Like, so it's basically a horde-based game with very limited progression from what I'm hearing.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing about the repetitiveness. Like, I hate it. As much as I love to sit there and farm as much as I can, I hate it when it gets prolonged in such a way where I'm like, I'm tired now. I'm switching over. Fuck it. I'm gonna play some shoot 'em up, like pick and play game, just so I can clear my thought process. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the
it's
time aspect is really, really bad. Have you played a bit of Valheim? This is like kind of similar concept to
yes,
Valheim.
yes.
So
When
how
it
does
first got
how does the time system work in Valheim? Because I'm not too familiar with that.
So it's a similar thing. So daytime, you do a lot of preparations, farming, this, that, and everything, which can take up to anything between 5 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on what you want to do, I guess. But at nighttime, you do get attacked. You still have a chance to farm at night, um, but the enemies don't seem to engage you directly instantly as soon as it goes night. Do you know what I mean? It takes a little bit of while for all these enemies to pop up, and once they get attracted to the nearby area, um, they'll start coming to attack you. Now, the enemies also attack whatever you have built, your house, your table, whatever it is that they'll do, they will destroy it. And you have to farm those items again in order to craft all these things during daytime, just so you can get better armor or better weaponry or better cooking things or utensils, etc., etc., etc. So Valheim is a brilliant survival game. Don't get me wrong. Again, for me, if I didn't play it with in Valheim, I had to play it with co-op, right? I had to play co-op. So I had our mutual friends just joining up with me on the server, and we were just farming shit ton. But the good thing was it was shareable. Like whatever things that I have farmed and crafted, I could share it with you for you to use it, right? And you'll be what do you call it? So if you want to craft, for example, I don't know, like an adamantite weapon or whatever it is, I could craft it for you. Or if you want, you can use my crafting table, to sit there and craft it. If you got all the items, etc. So it was a very fun game, and doing the one good thing about Valheim was able to do the raid bosses, right, together in the same server, so you can go hunting for these raid bosses, and
Okay.
you have a chance of a very rare loot drop. And Valheim was brilliant when it came to executing it. It's very simple. It has the same graphics that friggin' RuneScape had at the very beginning of stage, right, when it got released. So it's a little bit better than RuneScape, but like I said, the whole gameplay movement, like movement, character movement, crafting movement, everything, except for one thing, which is basically digging and trying to landscape your area. That was tedious as fuck, right? It was pissing me off because 1 minute you're trying to level out the floor, the next minute that little bump did not allow you to do anything, right? So other than that frustration, everything else on that game was good. Everything on that game, the playable hours, the content on it, it was immersive. You could spend probably 20 hours, 30 hours just trying to get the perfect setup that you wanted to set up. So, yeah, man, if you have to compare to Valheim, Valheim would be the superiority, even when it comes to solo experience.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
solo experience is long, but you still have that better solo experience in Valheim.
Yeah, so this game was actually featured as one of the PlayStation Indie. It was in the PlayStation Indie showcase. So I think a lot of PlayStation players, they gravitated towards this game. But there are a lot of mixed reviews there. Like people are complaining about the balance in the game, how some things you craft cost too many souls, or something you collect from the shrines. I'm not sure what the power is there, but
But
I mean, but that's
again,
just a balance thing, right?
yeah.
but
Yeah,
again,
so maybe they
does the
will
game
fix it later on, with the patches, if they listen to the community feedback and things like that.
also on this game, does it have microtransactions? That's another thing that you need to keep an eye out too, because some of survival games do have microtransactions, and does this have a microtransaction built into the system?
Yeah,
I don't see any additions on
well, there is a
Steam. They do
deluxe
have a deluxe
edition.
bundle.
Yeah, it's just cosmetic. That's what I'm seeing for now.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's
So
no microtransactions. I don't
so
believe.
what it's suggesting me like telling me is that this game is grindy, right? And everybody knows grindy games are fucking annoying, and hardly anybody would play it if it's really grindy. And especially like you said, if the crafting thing costs so much, people have to grind a lot for those materials and then able to craft it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, a grindy experience can put people off from a game unless it's really worth it. Unless it's really worth it for whatever they're trying to do. So, for example, if you're grinding for a legendary item, right, it's worth it because you know that this legendary item is going to give you this attack buff or debuff, negative debuff or whatever it is. So getting that item is worth it in order to complete this raid boss, for example. So it's like if you're going as a group, let's just say Windu goes with me and you come along with me, and you happen to be a tank and Windu happens to be like the mage person or whatever it is, right? And you know that each legendary item that you're grinding is suitable for your character, and you know that this team can go into the raid group and actually be beneficial to each other. So like Windu can help you as a tank to negate a damage, a specific kind of a damage. And then you can boost either me or whatever it is to do high level DPS on a NPC, and
I mean, it
trying to
looks like it
complete.
has all those RPG elements, quite
Mhm,
frankly. And I'll be honest, so far from what I'm seeing from this game, my
mhm,
favorite part is the animations, right?
mhm,
I I just think that whole aspect of looting just to fight, but then you combine it with PvP, it's like literally forcing somebody to be in constant raids. One of the reasons why RPGs work so well is because you have the option to do a raid with people, or you can just focus on your quest by
mhm.
yourself. If you take that quest ability out, it's like, hey, you can do a raid by yourself or with others. Who wants to do a raid by themselves? Usually that's how you get destroyed, quite frankly. You feel me? So
And in order to achieve that status of completing a raid boss on your own is gonna be a fucking long
it's a
grind.
grind, bro. Yeah, you
It's
got to
a
be god tier
long grind.
level to do shit like that.
Hmm.
So I see a big flaw in it, quite frankly. I can see the appeal, but if you don't got buddies that you're grinding this with, I literally wouldn't sit there and try to find people to play with. I wouldn't sit there and try to grind it by myself. The moment I get frustrated by myself, I'm like, let me just go back to Apex Legends. If somebody else buys the game, I'll play it with them. But I'm not going to go out
True.
of my way, you know?
or or there's Destiny 2, which is free, right? Yeah.
True. I mean, yeah, if you want RPG elements, raids, individual missions, and a PvP, why would you spend how much is this? $20?
Hmm.
$20 on an indie game. No disrespect to the indie game, but I think every company needs to be mindful of their competition in the marketplace. And unless you're truly separating yourself, you're literally putting yourself in a situation of why you. And if you can't answer me with a good answer, then you're probably not going to get picked that much, to be honest.
That's very
Right,
true.
definitely.
That's very true.
Yeah, so moving on here, so there is another big game release, and this was on July the 29th of uh, yeah, July the 29th, so it did come out on the Thursday. And so it's called The Ascent, and this is a really dope cyberpunk feeling game. And it's a solo and co-op action shooter RPG set in a packed cyberpunk world. And so the developer who made this is NeoGiant, and they are a small indie studio of about 12 people. And the level of detail that they did in this game is just absolutely incredible. Like if you look at the detail, the graphics of what they've been able to pull off in this Unreal Engine 4, like they've done such an amazing job with the detail, and it looks really, really good on PC. And yeah, so
You might need to get this one.
Yeah. So on
I'm gonna be honest with you. We might need to get this one.
No,
you
no, no.
can
On this one,
customize. You can choose your weapons. You can choose your character, your
So-
armor augmentations. Yeah, this one might be
on
more
this
possible.
this game, I think it was yesterday. Wasn't it yesterday or day before yesterday? Krow was playing it on your Discord window, right?
Okay.
And he streamed it. And to be honest with you, like I said, I'm not a big top-down fan. And again, I'll repeat it again. I'm not
It's
a
a
big
joystick shooter.
top-down. This one appealed to me more. This
Dude,
one really
The
appealed
level
to me more.
design and the look of it is just really, really good.
Yeah.
Like just the
And-
overall vibes. Like I know they're aiming for like a cyberpunk sort of vibe, right? But everything from the design when you're customizing your character, how it's very high detail, right? Or as soon as you're in a match, or like let's say you're playing, right? Where your environment, the colors are very vibrant, lots of contrast, etc. It quite frankly just looks pretty damn good, even for a
Yeah.
joystick shooter.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the whole vibrancy of it. Like I was watching the whole thing Krow was playing, and I was even trying to be a little bit funny by doing the voice acting because obviously there's no voice acting, right? So I was just reading it off and I was doing the voice acting for the game in a funny way. But even the dialogues, bro, if you read those dialogues, they're hella funny. It sounds like you're a 90s kid, just talking shit, right? Just talking shit. And I was just saying there, I was just like, this is funny. Whoever thought of this script is like, it must have the similar mindset of us, especially like when you're a gamer. He must have this mentality, and yeah, the level of detail, like even like when I was seeing him running around the map and just collecting things and everything like that, the whole idle animations from the NPCs, the the level design, intricate, the way you can go things and use certain things. I mean, I was quite impressed with it. And this is the one top-down game I would play. But I would play with a co-op. I would play with like you or Krow or whoever it is that owns the game. And because the thing is, like, this looks like a fun top-down game to play with buddies, right? So, and that's the only thing that like it really appealed to me. And that's a difficult thing for me, especially I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big top-down player. That's a very difficult thing to me, and that kind of appealed to me very well.
Yeah, and what this indie studio has done is just really incredible with how the world is set up. And like, there's a lot of different races you find in the world, and there's one race that looks like Yoda from Star Wars. And it looks like a lot of
Lit.
different races from Star Wars. Like I think they've had like some inspiration from Mass Effect and Star Wars with how the different races are set up.
Right.
And yeah, like you said, Joker, there is some NPCs without no voice dialogue, but the main characters, what I've seen, what I've heard, is that the main characters are really well had a really good dialogue script.
I feel that.
And yeah,
You gotta bear in mind though. So like what I watched you play, playing the game, it's just like I saw snippets of it. I wouldn't say like I saw the whole gameplay, right? So
mhm.
the things that you were doing was just like non-voice acting dialogues. Do you know what I mean? So that like yeah, man, it's a very very well put together. And for when I was obviously you told me it's a team of 12, right? To be able to put this amount of work in there, kudos to them. Like really kudos to them because it's just like it's difficult to have a team of 12, but I'm guessing they're vibing very well off of each other, especially if you have a really good team. You can just do amazing things, bro. Even if it's just a team of 4, for example, you can do a lot of things. I mean, it might have taken them a while, but implementation, thought process, everything counts into this point, and they have done a really good job of it. And like I said, kudos to them, giving it their best. When did you say that they started this development for this game? Did you even say it?
I don't know when this was started development. But yeah, like it is an indie studio of 12 people, so it is very impressive for them to have this it's such a quality game put out. And it's not just a graphical showcase. Like there are destructible elements in this game as well. And like you come across some enemy types where they throw rocket launchers or grenades at you, and you can see like the level of destruction on the cover that you're going up against. That the cover that you're leaning on, like it destroys, and the level of the granite explodes, so you can see all the detail of like how the wall is destroyed and things like that. So
Yeah, and
that's
that's
pretty impressive.
like I said, the thought process, the implementation, the design, the level of intricacies on the levels, the idle animation. That's what impressed me. The NPCs idle animations are hella cool, and also the amount of detail for customer character customization. Um, it's like I said, a very good team can produce wonders, even if it takes time for them to do so. As long as you can vibe off of each other as a team, and I guess being in a team, this team of 12 has paid it off really well for them, right? And it's done an amazing job when it comes to the whole game itself, like the aspect of the game itself.
Yeah. And I think the world is honestly much better than Cyberpunk 2077, where I think in Cyberpunk 2077 what they did was they put all the NPCs in like a straightforward walk cycle. Like there was no interaction at all with like the shops or like the news or things like that. Like it was just people walking around, like it doesn't seem like a lively world in Cyberpunk 2077. But in this one,
I
like you
think
have like so
if you
many
had to,
different interactions. Like you had
so like,
people.
yeah, you
Sorry,
carry on.
like you had people like shout out the guards, the security guards. You had people chilling in the corner. You had people watching the news and stuff like that. So it is very interactive how they have it set up.
Yeah, and like if you have to compare it to Cyberpunk 2077, let's just put it, or let's be honest, really. Cyberpunk 2077 is produced by a triple A game developer, right? It's not like they are low level budget creators or indie developers, right? And yes, I can understand your point when it comes to like straightforward NPCs, being in contact with them and stuff like that. But this is an indie game, and we have to separate it from Cyberpunk 2077. You can't compare it to that. Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 is they have gone through a lot of fucking turmoil. They've done a lot of boo-boos, and they obviously repenting it. I'm hoping they're repenting, right? But this is a team of 12, and they must be really close with each other in order to implement and figure out certain things and testing it out, rigorously testing things and putting a code together. And honestly, it's paid them off really well. And that's what happens when you have a good teamwork, right? And this is what they have showcased in this game, especially. And yeah, let's not compare it to Cyberpunk 2077. This is a different thing. This is a game on its own. They have made a really good impressions for a lot of players, and let's give them this benefit of keeping the praises separately away from Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that being said, though, I really do think they did nail the cyberpunk theme to a T in this game, and I think they've done a fantastic job. So I am gonna read I'm gonna read a critic review for this indie game, and so this critic goes by the Games Machine, and so it says that The Ascent is a fast-paced twin-stick shooter immersed in an impeccably designed cyberpunk world. Yet its plot fails to fully take advantage of the world setting, the wonderful setting. Luckily, the shooting mechanics are quite satisfying, while the many different character customization options guarantee many possibilities to approaches to the shootouts. And yeah, like the shooting is very well done in this game. It has a very unique cover system, and all the guns that you find in this game, they all sound like really dope, and they did a really good job with the sound, the gun sound design as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah, carry on.
okay, yes. But on the other hand, there was one negative review on Metacritic. But I believe we did speak about this before. Like you shouldn't trust all the sources, as like you gotta find sources that you really vibe with, that you really can say as a trusted source. But there is one negative source that gave it a 3 out of 10, and this was by Metro Game Central. And so
Okay.
it says, there's a quote here that says, unfortunately, it also has some of the banal mission design and obnoxious storytelling, creating one of the most painfully boring video game experiences we've endured in a very long time. Your character can be... sorry.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, your character can be customized both physically and in terms of armor, skills, and various type of augments, but there are no character classes. And yeah, like I would agree with that. Like the level of customization in this game, it's not as deep as other RPGs. There's only like a point system, like where you can get like a faster reload speed. You can get like a higher crit count, but there's no like in-depth like skill trees. So that's the only gripe I have with this game right now.
Right.
It's interesting. I'll be real. I'm looking at a lot of the reviews as well, and the only overall concern that I would see is optimization, which is something that will come down the road, right? But I'm looking at somebody here saying that he's running an 8700K at 5 gigahertz and then an RTX 3090, and he's suffering with optimization issues. You feel me? With that being said, and the review that Krow just read, I'm currently installing it. So there's that, right?
But then afterwards, like it depends on an individual based experience, I guess. Because when I was watching Krow play yesterday, he didn't seem to have a lot of issues as much.
No,
when
believe me, I had a lot of stutters in this game, bro. Like, I'm running a 3070, and like there's been times where there's been so many hiccups, like every almost every other second in some cutscenes, and
Mhm.
in some of the gameplay elements there are some hitches. But this is by an indie studio, so maybe
Yeah,
they are working on the
optimization
patches and
might just be needed
optimization
regardless.
So yeah, you've got
for everybody.
so again, a lot of games that get released initially will have a lot of hiccups, right? Let's not forget about it. Even a triple A game will have hiccups in certain aspects of the game. So eventually, hopefully, what you're expecting from this developer is creating a patch or creating some kind of an update that can resolve these issues, right? So you don't have those hiccups in the near future. And let's just hope that this was only released on the 29th of July, right? So since it was released on the 29th of July, let's just hope that in the coming week or the following week, they'll have some kind of an update ready so that people who are facing these kind of issues will get their answers resolved. Their questions resolved, right? And we just have to hope again with a lot of developers, we just have to hope. And that's what we are doing right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna check it out. I think it's worth supporting, based
Yeah.
off of what I see right now.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, it's
exactly what it is. And I'm downloading. I was downloading it yesterday while I was playing World War Z. So yeah, hopefully can give it a try later on. Just off.
Yeah, it's definitely a good experience, and I've heard people play co-op in this game, and they've said that unfortunately there's no level scaling in this game with the enemies. So he was saying like if you do play it co-op, like it is a way easier, like it's a way easier experience than playing solo. So that's another issue that I hopefully they address the level scaling and make it like
Yeah,
similar
or like
to Diablo.
yeah, with like a difficulty multiplier with more people in the lobby or something.
Yeah.
I
But
can
let's
see
not
that.
forget though that it's just a team of 12. I guess you have to give them a little bit of a leeway just for that particular aspect. If you have a lot of people in your team who can, work on it rigorously, get those issues sorted, cool. But since it's only 12 team members, trying to each individual to work on a particular segment of that code, it's going to take them a little bit more time. So let's hope that they hire more people and work on this code and get this update issued out to a lot of people.
hmm Yeah, and for me, I do think this is one of the better games of the year so far. And I did hear another reviewer; they did call the Ascent as one of the best games they played in 2021. So it's a lot of good praise for this game. And yeah, I am having fun with a lot of fun with the combat. I think the combat is really well done, and it is a fun twin stick shooter.
Okay. And that's what that's that's fair play to you, and it's the same thing for me. I'll just enjoy it with my buddies, just playing the game. So hopefully we can do that after stream. So yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, yeah. Okay, so a few weeks ago, there was the EA Play showcase,
Mhm.
and so I'm not gonna go through all the games there, but they did end it off with the Dead Space remake announcement, and this was really really well done with the cinematic for the Dead Space remake,
Mhm.
and like this is actually gonna be on the new Frostbite engine, and it is gonna be next gen only, so this is looking very promising. And have you guys actually played Dead Space in the past?
Yes. Yes. Sci-fi horror. Yes.
Yeah.
I love playing
Mhm.
Dead Space, bro.
I was gonna say that excites me because Dead Space is definitely one of those games that arguably by now has a cult following, right? Dead Space is known for its cinematic vibe that you constantly go through also. If you make even the same exact Dead Space, but it looks better, and then you combine it with the really good sound design that was there, I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest.
I don't see any wrong with it. However, I am a little bit concerned when they said that it was gonna be a Frostbite engine, and
Why?
Frostbite engine, uh, because there's a lot of issues with Frostbite engine, particularly for shooter games or like a third person action games kind of a thing, right? So we've seen a lot of bugs. There's a lot of difficulty when it comes to like for developers, especially for developers, when it comes to coding and stuff like that. Because even after doing certain updates or whatever it is, they're still having the similar hiccup on that Frostbite engine. And yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
but I'd
It's
say
like
that's more of a developer issue, right?
yeah, it is a developer issue, but a lot of people who I know who has worked on a Frostbite engine and just getting the grips around it is a little bit more complicated, and they like,
Yeah.
and it's just like I hope that obviously Visceral Games know how to use Frostbite engine very well to the T, and they optimize it in a very well scale, especially for Dead Space, knowing that it has such a big cult follower, and it's an amazing game, and they don't want to ruin that kind of a title in having these buggies that's just flying about left, right, and center. So I'm just not putting my hopes up very high because, like I said, I love playing Dead Space. But I'm not putting my hopes up really high, although I am excited for the game itself.
Yeah, so actually before EA did so Visual is no more part of EA. So they actually I believe EA they um like
Because Frostbite is an EA thing.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they cut off Visual Studios, so they got disbanded. So who's making this remake right now is actually called EA Motive, and they've been known to make Star Wars Squadrons
Exactly. Like
before.
so, like when it comes to using Frostbite engine, it's like the problem is most of the Frostbite games that's there. It's like BioWare build RPGs like or Ghost games or racing games or Madden NFL or FIFA games, right? Simulations, and
Well,
you
I was about
already
to
know
say, to touch on it while you continue, Frostbite is known for their environment interaction potential,
exactly.
which in
And
Dead Space, just think about it. But go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I can understand your point on that specifically, because it's environment touch things or anything like that. But again, when it comes to like the whole animation system and everything like that is a lot better on Frostbite, but the gameplay on Frostbite engine is a little bit lackluster. It's a little bit less lackluster. Like let's just put it that way. For example, a sport game, right, which continuously having movements having happening around and stuff like that. There is always a bug. There's always a bug, and if you want to have a lot of movements, like example, Dead Space does have a lot of things happening around the area and things like that. I'm just gonna see glitches every now and then, and that's just gonna annoy me. Like, why is it there? It's not supposed to be there. It just like that one little thing can irritate me.
Okay, so what were some of your good experiences when you first played Dead Space? Like for me, like this game used to really spook me back in the day. Like this was like mad scary. Like I remember when I first saw the first necromorph. Like like that moment got me really trembling, and it's pretty nerve-wracking experience. So so what were your guys' favorite memorable experiences playing the first Dead Space?
Not wanting to play it because I am a chicken shit. By all means.
I was going
Like
to say the
I'm also the
exact same
same
thing,
guy
bro.
that has Alien Isolation, and I haven't gotten past the first mission. I'm not even joking. That's just me. Like it's one
Yeah,
of those
like
things. Like, bro, you tell me I gotta go in there? Why the hell would I go in there? I've seen movies. I'm gonna die if I go. No, you know what? Fuck this game. Nope. But so
yeah,
I would say the immersion, just in
yeah.
general, as a whole. I wouldn't even specify it to one moment. The immersion and the sound design.
Yeah. For me, the whole immersion of the game was one of the top things for me. And Dead Space was one of those games where, like, yo, at that time of period when horror games like Outlast didn't exist or things like that, bro, Dead Space used to hit me up every time. All of a sudden, this motherfucker would just pop out of nowhere. I'm like, yo, bro, get me the fuck out. I'm not playing this game. And I used to get goosebumps immediately. Right? Like, bro, fuck
Ooh.
this. Like, fuck this. But yeah, but the whole story as well on Dead Space was amazing. The story concept in that game was very well put together too. And they obviously proved that bigger isn't always better. And hopefully the remake keeps it to that similar kind of an aesthetic, but just with better visuals and a little bit more gameplay than the original title, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be real with you, as an avid Star Wars fan, I also know very well what the Frostbite engine is possible when you insert it into a story based scenario. I know sport games might have their issues. You could make an argument with shooters, how they're great at certain areas. But I'll be real, man. The Frostbite engine does have a lot of potential for even
It,
more immersion
it,
as far as Dead Space.
it does have a lot of potential, and hopefully they can tweak it every way. Like obviously, every developer tweaks their engine to meet their specific needs, and I'm just hoping that they do the same thing with Dead Space. Visceral games, they know this shit, so hopefully they can do that well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, like when I first played Dead Space, like all the little things, like the sound effects, and like
The sound effects
hearing
was
a
the one.
door opening, like
Sound
Exactly.
design was
like
really
when
good,
you
man, in general.
yeah,
Mhm.
like it really gave off that like you're in a space like a space shuttle in outer space. Like it's really well done, and also how they did the HUD system, like the fact that like
I
everything
the,
was minimalistic. Like there was no HUD at all.
their
Like everything
their
you like from the
their
health bar,
HUD system.
like you how you take damage in this game. Like you see the cells on a suit. That's how you know your damage. Like your HP bar is on the suit. And
Mhm.
also, when you zoom in to your weapon, that's when you know how many bullets you have. Like it's like a very minimalistic UI how they have it set up.
Like
So that was a
their
very unique
HUD
thing.
was their HUD was the iconic for at that moment of period, and it's what you call diegetic interface, right? So if you know a little bit of more of a development side of things, there's this diegetic, which means minimalistic as possible. So everything around you can actually experience the whole screen without having to get distracted by looking here or there just to see how much you got health or this, that, or the other. Do you know what I mean? So theirs was the most iconic HUD screen till date, and I love it. I love it. Hopefully they can implement the same thing on this one too, and not have like a bunch of things on the side. I just want it simplistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you played what was it? Outlast, right?
Yes.
Yes, I
Okay.
have. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Oh yes.
there's so
My
they
God.
have a similar HUD system, but it's just a little bit different. Where obviously you got like a camera kind of a thing and stuff like that, right? So those are the kind of HUDs or what you call diegetic
Got you.
design.
Emerging games they're very good with HUD that only appears when you're interacting with it,
Hmm.
for sure.
Mm. And yeah, I think how they have the save system set up, like you have to go to specific like parts around the map. You have to go to this terminal just to save the game. I think they took inspiration from Resident Evil, right? Like how they have the like you have to keep going to the what's it called, the typewriter, just to save your game.
Yeah, so
So
that's a very interesting thing. So what they kind of did was it's like most of the games like Resident Evil and stuff like that where you have to go to a specific save point, right?
mhm.
And it's basically what you call like they're masking the save system as a checkpoint too, right? So it's kind of like you're hitting a checkpoint and you know you have to save it over there. It's the similar things that they have done, like other games have done too. But this is a very well. Um, I love the idea of going to a save point and saving it there, where instead of pressing the start button, quick save, and then switch it off. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But the whole thing for me is like I want to complete that checkpoint before I can switch off my PC and go do shit. Because I want to be able to carry on doing it. Because imagine you're playing a game and you get a phone call from, I don't know, work, unless it's really really important where you have to get off the game itself. Um, but let's just say like a minimal thing, like, oh, my homie's gonna be coming around in about 10 minutes time. I need to like try and make sure all this thing is done. He's like, hey man, my homie can wait while I till reach this checkpoint, and only then I will engage with him. Do you know what I mean? So I love the idea of going to that specific
I
spot, checkpoint, complete whatever task you need to do in this point of period so that you can start off fresh when you reboot the system and load up the game. You can start off fresh knowing that's right, I just completed this is where I need to go next, so you have like a fresh perspective on entering that mode level. And yeah, I love that whole idea.
Yeah, and also prevents like saves coming before a boss and like things like that. So it's a very
Exactly.
unique system that you have there. And also how the fact that you have to use mining equipment just to dismember the all the alien types, like that was a very unique thing there. Like if you take out the necromorph's arms, like he goes on his
that's
knees and
that's the
crawls to you.
That's the
Like
unique logo for Dead Space, bro. The detached arm floating in space, right? So, yeah, that's a very very well put together too. So,
yeah, and if you look at this teaser also, how they teased the next Dead Space remake, like there was there was a part in the game where if you look in the wall, there the people left a message saying dismember their limbs, and that was the message. So looks like
it's like a
gonna be
little
dope.
there's like a little interaction system too. It's just like telling you as a customer, like, hey, we even thought of this thing, like, just making it look like you get more immersiveness into the game, right? So, it's like, hey, I was here before you.
yeah. So, it's definitely looking really promising, and the teaser trailer that they've shown, it looks very, very well done. But we have yet to see gameplay, so, hopefully they do, tease something by the end of the year again with the Dead Space remake.
So when is it actually? I don't know much about the release date, but do you have a specific idea as to when it might
They
be
I think
coming?
said
they've announced it, haven't
2022.
they?
There's no date. There's only a 2022 as for the
So
release.
literally, it's just literally around the corner. So okay.
Dope.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So moving on here. So we're gonna be talking about Xenonauts 2.
Okay.
And so actually there's been a debate about Xenonauts 2 as of late, where the devs did announce that they are introducing invincibility mode into the game. And we've seen like accessibility options before with the Last of Us 2. They did do a lot of accessibility options to help inexperienced players play the game. But having an invincibility mode, I feel like that's a really hardcore easy mode, and a lot of the gaming community is upset about that. So how do you guys feel about Xenonauts 2 introducing an invincibility mode for players who may not be that good at the game to have a good time playing this game?
I mean, like, it's a very interesting thing. Let me just clarify this. It's a very interesting way for you to pronounce the game, because I always pronounced it as Psychonauts. I don't know if it's Xenonauts, but I'd always
Oh,
pronounced it as
sorry,
Psychonauts.
yeah, Psychonauts, my
Like
bad, yeah,
Psychonauts, yeah. So
yeah.
it's like when you told me Xenonauts, I was there like,
Yeah, my
what
bad,
is
my
this
bad.
game? And then afterwards, I looked at the thing, right, and it's like, oh, it's Psychonauts. Okay. Um, but
And he
yeah,
says
so
Xenonauts?
yeah, Krow said it was Xenonauts, bro. I got tripped up. I was there like,
Yo, my bad. I got confused with the Dead Space alien stuff. Yeah. My bad. It's just, Psychonauts.
hey,
Yeah, that's what it's called.
but yeah, so it's like when he told me Xenonauts, I was there like, I don't even know this game. What is this game? But yeah, Psychonauts invincibility mode. Um, to be honest with you, I never really played Psychonauts, so I heard of it. I never really played of it, so I can't tell you if the invincibility mode is good or not in the game.
What type of game is it?
Ah, I don't even
So
know,
it
to be
it, it
honest with you.
is. I
Because
I
I
guess it's
see
kind
it's
of
considered
comparable.
similar to Portal 2, it says.
Oh,
So is it
really?
like a
Okay.
puzzle? Yeah, is it like a puzzle type game?
I thought it was a platformer.
It doesn't help that when you go to Steam, every single picture is a cinematic picture. Video is like cinematic videos, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's
And
just
it's
like I always.
$60.
How much?
$60 because it's in pre-purchase, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay, got
and
it.
it's also coming to Game Pass, I believe. So.
I, I thought it was a platformer, to be honest with you. So I never really, because when I looked at some screenshots of the game, I just assumed that it was a platformer. I don't know if it's like an adventure type. I don't know if it's like a RPG or it's a side scroller or whatever it is. I just thought it was a thing.
So,
So
so let me ask you, what does introducing an invincibility mode actually mean? You feel me? Because I'm not 100% too sure. Because I mean, to answer your question, it is listed as a single player 3D platformer.
all
Mhm.
right, okay.
So does that just mean after you beat the game, you'll unlock an invincibility mode to where you can just go through and can't get killed, just to kind of have fun with it?
No, the issue here is that right from the jump, you get the option of you can choose to play with invincibility mode on. So this
Oh,
has a lot
okay.
of the gaming community is really divided against this, as
Hey, man.
the majority of them
Yeah, I'm not
they
cool with
do
that.
play on normal, and they think like putting a game on easy is like it's like a babyish thing to do. And so
Yeah,
they've
for
been
sure.
complaining that like invincibility mode
For
is
kids.
like it should be like something you give to
I mean,
you try out for
I can
kids. It's not really something that should be intended for the
like
general
the
game.
only
I think an
the one.
easy mode should be a borderline invincibility mode already. Like if you die on easy, it's because you're trying sort of mode, you know? But it's also, more for kids, more for less experienced players, etc. I think having an invincibility mode off rip to where you can't die, I would put it on for my little nephew that's like 4. You
Like
know,
the only thing that I can see why they could implement invincibility mode is probably for speedruns, right? You got people who can do speedruns, right? So they probably want to do that speedrun challenge, and I can just see them going through that. And again,
yeah, but the way it's
I,
gonna work is you're gonna have invincibility mode speed runs. You're gonna have normal mode speed runs. Like it's like
yeah,
sure. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
guess it'll provide the option, but I just think having a mode where you don't die at all ruins the fun of a game. Whereas opposed to a mode that it's
And
almost impossible to die is a totally different scenario, but yet still possible. You feel me?
and also like the only thing I don't even know if this game is story rich, right? So if it was a story rich game, I would put it on easy mode or so, just so I can experience the whole story mode and not having to worry about
You
dying
don't
and
gotta sweat.
coming
Yeah.
back. Yeah. So if it has a legit story mode, all right, cool. I'll put it on invincibility mode just so I can see the story, just play through the whole experience, kind of a thing. But if you can do it off rip and just launch on invincibility mode, don't get me wrong, I'll try that mode first and then I'll go on easy mode. And then I'll go on normal mode just to go scale through what I can and can't do, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like if you think about like Grand Theft Auto, like you had to search online just to get the cheat code, just to get invincibility mode. So what these developers have are saying on Twitter is that like they're saying that, oh, we want everybody to have a good experience with our game, and introducing this mode will help all the gamers enjoy this game, and that's what their spiel is.
Hmm.
And
No, I mean,
so actually,
I can see what they're saying. Of course, the gaming community is going to be divided regardless of even whatever you try to implement. If it's got the game and all of a sudden they implement a special mode, they'll be like, I don't know why they put that mode in. That's most of the gamers would say that. And then afterwards, you got other gamers going, dope, we got a new mode. Let's go. Kind of a scenario, right? So you see, I was telling the same thing to Windu the other day as well, just chatting, and I just turned around and said, like, look, gamers will, gamers have been given this opportunity to be spoiled, right? And it's like over and over again when you keep expecting free things off of them and stuff like that, so they will get used to the idea and they will never be content with whatever you provide for them, right? So unless it's like a, I don't know, like a new character in a game or whatever it is, they're still not going to be content because some people will be unhappy that there's a new character in there and I think it's broken, blah blah blah, this, that, etc. All these kind of excuses. And then you got other people going, you know what, it's a new character, let me learn him, understand the whole entire experience, how this person, how this character can help me, or is it suitable for my play needs or whatever it is. So regardless of what it is, bro, gaming community will always be divided with pros and cons, right? And that's the thing. And you'll get the rare occasional individuals who love to be in the middle of two things. So it's like, oh, I'll try this and I will try this, so that's all it is.
mhm. All right, so let's move on to our next topic, which is actually easy mode in gaming. And so we do have a tweet here from Alana Pierce, and she did make a response to the Psychonauts, the whole Psychonauts debate. And so she says, I just want you all to know that I do not give a single bleep what difficulty you like to play your video games on. I only care that you play them and you enjoy them and you share your positive experiences with them, because video games are in fact wonderful. And so there's another tweet here. I'm referring to the criticism levied at Double Fine regarding their Psychonauts 2 accessibility options, which sparked your "you're not a gamer if you use these" debates. And so like a lot of the gaming community like they feel like they're I feel like they're macho guys. Like they feel like they have the toxic attitude that if another gamer plays a certain game on easy mode, like they're not a real gamer to me type of attitude. So how do you guys feel about that mentality?
I mean, here's the thing. For me, it really just comes down to each his own, right? Like I understand making a game too easy is not a good thing with the invincibility mode, right? Because at the end of the day, part of a game, part of just problem solving, critical thinking. Like I'll be honest with you, video game for a lot of us was an escape, but it was also a tool that helped us develop a lot of skills. You get
Mm.
me? So it is one of those things that everybody can enjoy video games in their own way. And you can have a super easy mode if you really want to, where you can sit there and just make it super hard to die, where even a little kid holding down left click will eventually kill these guys before they kill him. Right? The only way to die is to just stand there for like 10 minutes and let them hit you. Like it's possible, right? But I I understand making a game too easy because it doesn't promote critical thinking. It doesn't promote just development of an individual. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that's to each his own, bro. You want to play it on easy? Sure. You want to play it on hard? Sure.
Mhm.
You want to play God of War on God of War mode? By all means, that's all you, boo boo. I'm not gonna do that shit.
Mhm.
Right?
Exactly. And it's a good take actually. It's like see some gamers over here have this big ego, right? That playing on the most super difficulty mode and you just completed the game makes you the best gamer out there. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Because you might be good at that game, particularly, let's just put it that way, but you might be downright bad on the other game, right? Which I
Mm.
might be good at, right? So I might be good at that, but you might be bad at that game. So it doesn't mean that just because you play it on a hard mode, hardest difficulty, makes you a better gamer or you're not a gamer. Gamers can be anybody. Anybody can be a gamer, right? It's just that the amount of passion, like Windu said, critical thinking, makes you have like a safe escape kind of a thing. Like people going on easy mode too can have like this whole mentality is like, you know what, I just want to enjoy um entertain myself without having to worry about getting stressed out because they might have the difficulty at work or home or whatever it is that they can just push to the side playing a video game. Doesn't matter what difficulty you're on, easy mode or hard mode, but is you as an individual have to make that decision, right? Which difficulty you want to play in. If you want to go ahead and play on easy mode, go ahead and play on easy mode. I'm not going to sit there and criticize you. If you want to play it on the hardest difficulty, and if you think that is going to help you boost your ego even more, go ahead, play that, bro. I'm not the one to sit there and judge you, right? Who am I to you? Who am I to you? First of all, right? Who am I to you to
I'm
sit
curious
there
why
and
it's an issue. Why people care,
yeah,
you know?
exactly,
Yeah, that's a good
exactly.
point. Yeah.
Why do people care? That's a very good thing to actually bring out, Windu.
Like,
Why do
because you
people care?
here's the thing. I understand. Let's say I'll bring up the God of War example.
Mhm.
If you play God of War on God of War mode, bro, you're a different fucking breed if you beat it on God of War mode.
Mhm.
You're a different breed. I will give you all the praise in the world. You have that achievement that I don't. But what the fuck does it matter what I played it on? Did you like the
Yeah,
story? Yeah, me too.
Mm.
Go.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. For me, like I've always liked the challenge of like playing on hard mode, but this is actually coming from the guy who hasn't been in a single Souls game. But I don't have the patience for that. But
I feel
like
you. Because I play every game on the hardest difficulty, like
mhm.
Resident Evil, everything. But as soon as I beat the game and that harder difficulty gets unlocked, nope. I'm
Yeah.
out.
So like
Not for me.
the only like I said when I was on the other one, I think it was a podcast not long ago that we did. I was explaining to people like, listen, I played Souls game and I completed Souls game, right, on hard difficulties. And the one thing that actually got me annoyed was I used to get frustrated so much, but that's because I chose to do it. I chose to do it. I took it on myself to put it on hard mode and trying to complete that game. And I used to get frustrated. I used to get ragey. I used to get angry for no goddamn reason because I couldn't kill that fucking boss. That's the second boss of the game because it was on the hardest difficulty ever. Right? And eventually, when I got that, I got a sense of achievement that I completed it. But let me repeat that whole difficult mode and try to complete it one more time. No chance. That's not happening. I already went past that stage, but it doesn't mean that skill set is going to be there because you're going to encounter difficult bosses as you go along. But again, it's my decision. I chose to do it. And if you or Windu don't sit there and if you sit there and tell me, bro, I tried doing on difficulty mode and I couldn't do it, I'm not going to sit there and trash you like, oh, you're shit. I'll be like, well, I know. I'll be like, I'll be sympathizing with you. Like, bro, I know how difficult it is. You know what? GG for you to trying it, but I know how difficult it is. Right? And I hold up my hands and I say, like, look, not a lot of
Each his
people.
own.
Yeah, exactly. Each of his own.
Yeah, so for me, I will say that like there are some games out there that are like super challenging on the hard difficulty. Like if you take like God of War 2018, if you play that on the hardest mode, like that's a really hardcore thing. It's kind of
Right.
like a Souls game on steroids.
Oh, bro, it's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
unreal.
game's crazy.
It's
unreal.
crazy.
Actually getting one shot. It's ridiculous.
Bearing in mind a normal mode, I'm obviously you guys played God of War 2018, and you know how difficult it was to beat Valkyries in that game, right?
The last Valkyrie specifically. Trust me. I
Exactly.
did them all, but that last Valkyrie, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. After I tried it about 1,000,000 times, I 100% turned that difficulty right back down to beginner, beat that fucking Valkyrie that I was so fucking tired of, and then cranked the difficulty right back up because I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wasting my
So,
time, bro. It's been a week.
like the last Valkyrie was the difficult part, but again, like when you said with the difficulty, you tried playing Sekiro Shadows twice, bro.
Yeah,
That
that's
shit,
that's pretty
that
tough.
shit, you don't even have an option to change the difficulty, right? You go in, basically the game promotes very well. It makes you get used to the mechanics of the game so that you can enjoy the game better so that you can the developers are saying, this is a game that we created, I want you to learn it and play the game very well, right? So I'll tell you honestly, the first time I loaded up that game, played it, the first boss, lady something, I can't even remember her fucking name, right? That bitch was on a next scale. I am not even lying to you, bro. The amount of times I used to just hit me once and my health bar was from full to like a quarter of it in one shot, bro. I'm like, yeah, I had to learn to beat it. Then when I went past it, you had another boss who's even 10 times more annoying and fucking pain in the ass to kill, but I did it. Right? Bro, I'm telling you honestly, difficulty mode, easy mode, whatever you do, if you don't sit there and trash another player. Don't sit there and trash another player. Toxicity, you're gonna have toxicity regardless. Like I can't play MOBA games, right? As much. I did when Paragon was on PS4. I was about to get into that game, and that's why I'm always good with the controller, right? But I can't sit there and play on a keyboard and mouse. You can trash me all you want, but I will just sit there and be like, hey man, I tried keyboard and mouse. And Windu knows how bad I am with keyboard and mouse. Right? He played co-op games with me. And on Apex, I am trash with keyboard and mouse. Give me a controller, I'll try my best. Right? So it's like an individual's preference.
In general, people just need to mind their business. Like if it's not affecting you, why the fuck do you care?
Mhm.
Sorry to
Mm.
curse. You know?
Yeah, so onto your point, Joker, where you did mention like the mobile games you played. So I want to just take in Deli's comment here. So he did have an argument about this on his Discord. So I do have his comment, and he said it was fine to do on the show. So yeah,
I think I
so
know which comment you're referring to because I saw on Deli's channel too, and
oh,
they were going back and forth with this kind of topic.
yeah. And you know, if you know Deli, like he's the guy who played over 100 over 1,000 hours in CS:GO, and he's put in so much time in Valorant also. So this guy plays really competitive games. So his take on this is very interesting. So his take is I played 4 hours of Demon Souls and have only completed the first boss. It's agonizing, but it is part of the design. So to that
Yeah.
I don't complain. I have to learn. But games like Tomb Raider or Spider-Man, easy mode. It's fine
'Cause he
if
doesn't
you're
have time.
it's fine if you're the macho man that's playing on super hard, but to down me for playing on easy and then infer that I'm disabled for doing so is yikes. So
Yeah,
it's it's a very
that's
interesting take.
exactly what we were saying just now. It's like, look, for people like Deli works pretty much round the clock, most of the hours that he can possibly put into his work, right? He plays competitive games. Competitive games are hard as it is, right? And he's good at it, you know. And just like Windu plays competitive games, right, on a daily basis for that fact, right? And you know that being a competitive player, these competitive games are hard as it is, and in order to achieve that higher goal is even more difficult because you're not only just competing with one or two people, you're competing with like hundreds and thousands and even millions of people just to hit that higher level, right? So
Yeah.
it is difficult to play competitive games. And but yeah, so playing games like Tomb Raider or Spider-Man on easy mode, and like he said, if he gets down for it and somebody calls him disabled for it, is kind of yikes moment. Is like come on, man.
Mm.
Why do you need to put me down just because I play these games on easy mode? It's a single player mode. I don't have to put in a lot of effort. I don't have to. I'm just playing it for the sake of playing it because I'm liking the story content. I'm liking this content, whatever it is. But getting called disabled for that is just like, bruh, come on. That's a BM right there. That's a bad manner right there. And if somebody had to tell me that shit face to face, I'll be like, okay, so why are you taking easy route in your life? Like, I will downplay straight up tell him this. You know what I mean? I'll just like, why do you need to take easy mode in life? Why don't you go in the hardest mode in life? You think about it. Easy mode is chilling, getting paid without doing fuck all, living off your parents' money, right? Why do you need to go work? Why are you going to make it hard for yourself? Why do you need to worry about paying bills? Why do you need to worry about doing that? But calling somebody disabled for this is like, yeah, bro, I'm sorry, but that's just toxicity on another scale. But
Yeah. They just need to mind their business. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
And but you know, the other side of it is that like taking a gamer who all their life they've only played you know, games that like borderline normal or hard. Like I feel like it's easy to get stuck into that mentality of like downplaying others for it. But you know, I think
But
they have to that it's just a preference at
but
the end of the day, right? It's not a
it
huge deal.
doesn't, it shouldn't stop a person from being a human being, like a human mentality, thought process, right? Doesn't matter how you've been playing it, what kind of games you've been playing from the get-go, or what kind of a difficulty mode you've been playing in there. Where's your human thought process in this, bro? Come on, right? Where's your humanity behind it? Just like, let's just say, for example, right? You know, people with autistic syndrome and stuff like that, right? Who actually sit there and enjoy playing video games, right? And all of a sudden, on a voice chat, you hear somebody going, "Oh, you're disabled," you know, and starts saying shit like that, or left, right, and center. Bro, did they not understand the kind of mentality that they're putting through this person thought process? Like,
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
how are you going to
definitely
sit there?
harsh. Yeah.
It's definitely harsh, right? So it could be like, for all you know, it could be a 60-year-old man playing behind a computer screen because it's the first time that he is able to do so after retirement, and just enjoying what, you know, he's been working so hard for 40 years of his life or 50 years of his life, right? And he finally gets to chill out and he just wants to get into gaming. So what? Let him be on easy mode. Don't fucking sit there and put him down just because, you know, he's playing it on easy mode. Fuck him. Just let people should just mind their goddamn business and just carry on with their fucking shit, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is. Um, if you want more people, community playing games or whatever it is, be welcoming. Teach them how to play the game. Understand, like, if they're really looking to some kind of a help, show them some tips and tricks. Tell them some tips and tricks so that they can better themselves next time. Right? That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a great point. You know, we do need to look into the humanity type of thing right there, and the thing is, like, Twitter is just a very toxic place in general. So you know, it's very hard to have a
Twitter is for
Keyboard warriors. That's all I see it.
like the trolls on Twitter have nothing better to do. That's all it is. They just want to stir up some drama, create a controversy, and blam, so that they can just get high off of it. What are they gaining out of it? Are they gaining anything? Nothing. Other than just that feel proud moment that, oh, I just told off this guy, told him about himself. Oh, big whoopty fucking do. You're just another fucking internet troll. I don't give a shit what you have to say, bro.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. So yeah. So you guys so are you guys good with this? Do you have any other points on this topic?
I just said my
So
piece.
they just gotta mind their business.
Yeah, you know, I do believe that humanity is definitely a big thing. You know, it's very important to, you know, just respect other people's preferences, and you know, at the end of the day, it's just a mode, so you know,
Yeah,
it should be a
it's
big deal.
like, look, playing a video game, a lot of people don't know, is a luxury. Yeah, it's a luxury. Playing a video game is a luxury. And you just gotta enjoy it as it comes along. Just have fun. That's what the whole premise of having a video game is. Have fun. And that's what they
Hmm.
need to think about it.
Yeah, that's facts. And okay, so let's move on to our last topic, which is the Steam Deck. And so yeah, so this was actually a very smart marketing strategy by Valve. They did announce this 1 week after the Switch OLED was announced, and they did stealth drop the trailer. And so it does feature a 7-inch LCD touchscreen. It does have a very interesting control layout, and it does also have touch capacitive sensors on each of the sides. So this is how you control, like, let's say if you want to play like Diablo or something else that requires like a mouse input, like you can actually do that on a portable machine like this. So it does feature an AMD RDNA 2 chip, and they're saying like the power is kind of comparable to a PS4. But obviously, this is the new architecture, so it's very scalable. And they're saying like Gabe Newell claims that this can actually run current and future games at 30 frames per second. And so this device does start at $399, and looks like Valve is clearly taking a loss on the entry model. But you're only getting about 64 gigs of internal eMMC memory. And so, what were your guys' initial impressions when you heard of the Steam Deck?
I'll be real. I couldn't find a use for it because most of the reasons why I have Steam are games that I play with keyboard and mouse. You feel me? I like we mentioned earlier, I don't really do platformers on PC. I don't really do, you know, lower resolution, low res puzzle games on PC that much. Like I can't think of a game that I want to play on the go that bad. You know? I just can't think of it. Like I might download Fall Guys on it and play it from my bed, but you get me? Like,
it will be useful if they had like exclusive content just for a Steam Deck, right?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue.
But other than that, like Windows Point again is just like,
because if you have Steam, you already have a pretty alright, probably a PC that's better than the Steam Deck to play all those games anyway.
Exactly.
The only person would be on the go.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And like Windows said, like it's just like most of my Steam library games that I actually own in there is all played through with keyboard and mouse. Unless some, I guess, because it's got a controller inputs implemented on the Steam Deck. Unless the game uses controller thing input, I don't see the use of actually owning a Steam Deck. Other than just play like a platformer games, I guess, and that too, like I'm not that desperate to play it on the go. Do you know what I mean? I have a PC that actually suffices enough to do everything that I need to. Why do I need to spend more money on a portable machine and play games, high-end games, that desperately? I don't see it. I don't know why I would spend money on it. Other people might, but I don't know why I would spend money on it. It doesn't make, it's not a viable option for me. Unless it's like Nintendo Switch, like I was telling you yesterday, I'm contemplating of getting Nintendo Switch for this particular game because it's only on for Nintendo Switch, right?
Right,
so
true. Yeah.
So I can't play it anywhere else. I'll have to get that game for that. So yeah, that's it.
That's been a big part of the success of making consoles like that, whether it's a mobile console or not, is exclusives. Like, for example, if you wanted to play Halo, what did you do? You had to buy an Xbox. If you wanted to play Pokemon, what do? You got to buy something Nintendo. You want to play Spider-Man, what do? You got to buy something PlayStation, right? But if you have a Steam account already, I'm just gonna play on my computer. I'm not like, oh, I gotta get the Steam Deck. Or if you don't have a PC, and then you're gonna buy a Steam Deck, but then you gotta buy all the other games on top of that. And considering you're not going to have that much storage, you're gonna have to spend on expandable storage if that's even an option. And then from there,
additional costs.
Yeah, like I'll be real with you. Steam is typically around PCs. The only market that I see that would actually use this device is people that have a game that they love and they want to play it on the go. You're not going to see people play CS:GO on this thing. You feel me? You're not going to see people be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm so glad I get to play Apex on the go in my bed. I might be hot dog water at it, but I get to play it on the go now, Like I can literally see puzzle games. I could see adventure type games. We talked about Dead Space. A Dead Space game on here would be cool. Just something that I can kind of do at my own pace with my headphones in the middle of the living room or whatever.
Or when you're
But
traveling on a long flight
yeah,
or something like that.
this is just more of an accessory, I would say. If you
Yeah.
already have a Steam library, this is an accessory for you, an on the go sort of deal. But I
Yeah,
don't
Unless
see this being as a console that's like its own separate entity that's going to get popular just because it exists, you know?
it's basically how do you call it? Glorified emulator.
yeah,
That's what I would say.
that's what a lot of these
It's a glorified emulator to play PC games on the go.
yeah,
That's
I
it.
think that's the biggest appeal of this device, like the fact that it is open source, so you can install Windows on it, and people have been saying that you can do emulation, like you can do emulation of the whole Nintendo, the
Like
Nintendo past.
Bro, no, but you're getting it's $400. You might as well just get the
yeah,
Switch.
yeah.
For $400, you can get a Switch Lite with no detachable Joy-Cons, which this doesn't have detachable controllers. You can literally get a Switch Lite and a few Pokemon games for the $400.
Yeah, and we do have to thank Nintendo for putting handheld gaming on the map. Like for many years, like people have had Nintendo Switch as a side console to their PC. Especially like it's a very good marketing to PC gamers, I feel, because like now you can play your indie titles on the go and things like that. And on top of that, you also have the awesome Nintendo exclusives on the platform. So
So you got
that's a really huge selling point. But for the Steam Deck, a lot of people have been saying like, oh, like after the announcement of Valve announcing this 1 week after the Switch OLED with no hardware announcements, like everybody's been like, oh, here's your Switch Pro right here. Like we don't need the like we don't need
like
the OLED. We got the Pro right here with the Steam
like
Deck.
you gotta understand though. You see, a portables like Nintendo Switch is optimized very well for Nintendo games, right? It's optimized very well. Like Windows said, try you playing CS:GO on this. You're gonna be bad, regardless of it, right? Especially if you're gonna play competitive wise. What are you gonna do? Use a joystick and mouse? Keyboard? Sorry, joystick and keypads? No, I don't think so. You just use mouse and keyboard, and you'll be on your PC playing it competitively, right? Second thing is, yeah, it sounds all well and all, but how well are all your games? Let's just say a typical game, right? A AAA game for that fact is at least 40 GB on installation size, and then you have updates, then you have all of these kind of things. So you're gonna fill up your storage instant. Yeah, unless they have an option to optimize it for the Steam Deck, I don't see it being that great. And like you said, why get an emulator on the go when you can just buy Nintendo Switch as it is, and even for a lesser price than that, $400 for this, and you pay
And you have to take in
107.
the extra storage. Yeah.
Exactly, and you end up paying $200 for Nintendo Switch Lite, and then afterwards you play the games over there. You can buy 3 or 4 games plus the console itself for the same price.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. The Lite is definitely a great comparison. Like that's a very entry model if you wanna get into the
This is
Switch ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like that's a really
yeah,
good point.
and the
It's a
basically.
direct competitor to the Steam Deck, and it's what, $150 cheaper?
Hmm. Exactly.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I
So
would just choose Nintendo Switch over it. Damn, that's for sure. Because the games, like for example, Pokemon Go, no, not Go. I don't know why I'm saying Pokemon games, Zelda. Then you got Super Smash Bros, Mario Brothers. Then you got like other platformer games on Nintendo Switch that you're gonna enjoy playing it because it's very well optimized for the Switch. Right. And then afterwards, why get an emulator on top of it and then download the game that you want to on this just so you can play it on the go? It's like it doesn't make fucking sense. You're wasting too much time and resources behind this.
Right, and I for me, I do feel that there was a lot of unwarranted hype for it. Like there have been people making memes that, oh, now the Switch is dead since the Steam Deck was announced. But we do have a recent source here, and we do have a tweet from Pierre Dubgefas, and he has
Mhm.
insider info of what Valve is saying about the device. And so his tweet is the 30 FPS target refers to the floor of what we consider playable in our performance testing. Games we've tested and shown have
Minimum.
consistently met and exceeded that bar so far.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the gaming community has been very upset that why is there a 30 FPS target for this device? Like oh, we want 60 FPS on the go and things like that. And I feel like most of these people are honestly like PC elitists, like like people who can't accept anything under 144 FPS or something, something
Exactly,
crazy
and
like that.
Well, but again, you got to be mindful. The average Steam user probably isn't running 30 FPS at most games, right? The average Steam user has a decent PC. What is it? The most used GPU recorded on Steam is a GTX 1060, I think. Yeah, 1060. And a 1060 is a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
decent graphics card. You feel me? It's nothing, it's not expensive, it doesn't give you the best performance, but you're able to play 60 FPS on most games with good quality settings.
Mhm.
So you got to be mindful that if you're not at least tailoring to the average community, they're gonna fail because they're trying to appeal to Steam users that want to play on the go.
Mhm.
But if they're average to amazing PC setups stomp on this thing, why would they buy it? People are looking, and people in the Steam world are looking for upgrades, not downgrades.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
very true. That's very true. And also there's like what? Okay, so you have, like Windows said, it's an accessory, right? To have. I agree with that statement 100%. Is because yes, you also brought up a very good point of unwarranted hype over this game, over this game. No, sorry, this machine.
Hmm.
Yes, it's true. There was an unwarranted hype over it. But what they failed to see at the same time was with this machine, what kind of a performance you were going to get. And people should have not kept their expectations so high, saying that, oh, it's a
True. Yeah.
portable, Steam, I can get 60 FPS. Bro, good luck with that because the amount of shit that goes inside to run it at 60 FPS is gonna be fucking difficult, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you gotta understand, some mobiles have 60 FPS or 190 hertz or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But that's specifically optimized for that device. Those games are specifically optimized for those devices, right? Not for fucking Steam Deck, right? For all you know, you can download. I don't know. Let's just say, for example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? On Steam
Yeah.
Deck, right? You can go ahead and do that. You're gonna you're gonna have to compromise some way because that is a very graphically induced game, right? It takes up a lot of resources. And as I can see, that it's a Zen 2 processor with RDNA 2 chip, right?
Hmm.
So RDNA architecture on this is dope. It's amazing. But come on, it's a portable at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
If you could use that same architecture like the chip on a PC, for example, I'm guaranteed that they'll get what they expected, right? And it's a lot of people over there, like you said, it's the elitists like who wants shit, like they want the best of best things. Like if it's a new thing, they want it. That's it. And when they get it, they're disappointed because what they're doing is they're doing a direct comparison to the PC that they're in.
Hmm. Yeah, so real quick here, I just wanna I just want to take in some of these comments that people have posted online. And so one user said the real test will come in a year or two when games start targeting next-gen consoles primarily, and then PC requirements shoot up. And another user says, was anyone really expecting to play AAA games at 60 FPS on a portable machine that draws 15 watts of power? I, for one, am hyped for it, but to play games such as Yakuza, the Soul series, Elden Ring, which is coming up, and maybe some co-op games that can be played at 30 FPS without worrying, I'm gonna be at a so games that I'm not gonna be at a disadvantage would be helpful for this machine. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I would get strategy games if we can install Windows. I'd play some TFT on there, even. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Boy, yeah, man, and I think this is just for the casual person that just wants to play some games in a more comfortable spot. Because I'll be real with you, like as somebody that spends all day on my computer desk, there's moments where I'm like, fuck, like, I want to play at my bed or something. But I'll be honest, I don't see much value in a Steam Deck when I can play remote play from here.
Exactly.
All those strategy games, I play from here. The TFT, I play from here. If there's, you get me? Like any game that I can play on my phone through remote play are the only games I'm gonna play on that. So quite frankly, why would I buy a $400 unit when I have a $1,000 unit right here that can run remote play and be just fine?
True.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, and you know the thing with mobile gaming too is you know if the infrastructure gets better, also with cloud gaming, I think that would be really huge as well with the cloud gaming. If xCloud becomes, you know, better with the Wi-Fi, if you're playing on Wi-Fi, and actually I've also read an article that Stadia is actually looking at. Actually, Stadia is looking at bringing their streaming platforms on other. I mean, they're looking at bringing their streaming tech to other game streaming platforms in the future. So that'll be interesting to see how, like how they bring their technology to other services. Maybe they'll bring it to like PS Now or to other companies.
I mean, PS Now needs an upgrade anyway. Let's just be honest, because
True.
you know it uses Amazon Cloud services, I guess, and it's very lackluster when it comes to certain things. So teaming up with Stadia is a very pretty useful advantage to have, especially if you can bring it directly to your console, you know, and play it without having to install the game or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how they implement certain things. Maybe, like we were saying in previous podcasts too, I don't see Stadia being there for a long period of time, because of the thing, unless they have a very good end user experience and whatnot. So in order to keep their business going, is to team up with somebody who's got an experience in gaming and, you know, gaming and gaming world, and teaming up with PlayStation Now is a very beneficial thing for them, and it's a very good strategy move too, because Microsoft Cloud is better already, right? xCloud is better already because they did some things, and Stadia would do very well with if they team up with Sony. But I don't know when that's going, if that will even happen. I don't know what their strategy is, so I don't know what's going to go happen. We just have to wait and see, really.
Yeah, well, you know, I still stand by the fact that, you know, Stadia is one of the better streaming platforms, like with that little to no latency. Especially if you play with the Google Chrome browser, it's a very solid experience. But what I found is that the Android app like if you play on the Android app, you get way more latency for some reason. I don't know what it is, but
Uh,
like you have to
less
use
like
Google Chrome or Chromecast to really make use of it.
Yeah, and because you see, Google Chromecast is specifically for streaming, right? It's specifically like you connect your Google Chromecast to your TV, for example. You can just directly connect it with your phone or everything like that. And that device, that little small circle thing, is specifically built to uh, receive and send signals, right? Whatever signals that it receives and whatever signals that it sends, it's purposely built for that. And Android phone is not. Android phone is still an experimental process. Android devices are still an experimental process, even up to this date, right? The only reason why everything feels so smooth and everything feels so great is because the manufacturers like Sony, Samsung, LG, they optimize it for end user experience. So if you have a Samsung phone, you know very well the UI that they use one UI, and it's very well optimized for Samsung devices. And you know that if you switch on your phone, you can easily access all your shit. But it runs all the Android apps. It's just the customization that they have is a bit different, right? Same thing goes with the Sony phones. Same thing goes with the LG phones. But if you look at Google Pixel, right? Google Pixel phone is a bare board stock Android, and that's all it is. Nothing else. They don't have anything else added to it. It's just a bare bones stock Android platform. So that's why Chromecast is doing very well, and sometimes Android will suffer latency issues and all of these kind of things. Again, like I said, Android is still an experimental phase. They have not; it's not a full build Android software, right? Whereas eventually, in the near future, because I do a lot of research on text specifically, and there is going to be Android systems will go out of commission in the near future because they'll have a new what do you call it, OS, right, that'll be running. But you can still use your Android apps, Android APK files, and all of those kind of things. You can still install it on there. The only reason is because Google is developing an ecosystem, right, which is going to be very well implemented for many of the smart technologies. Like if you have a smart fridge, smart cooker, smart microwave, smart TV, everything like that is going to be very well implemented with that. And for example,
Hmm.
let's just put it this way: when I was looking at the test phases, so this is OS that they were working on. So if you're using, let's just say, for example, your phone, and you open up a browser, right? And you're reading up on some article and you left it halfway through and you just minimized it. You come home and you want to carry on with reading the leftover article that you couldn't finish, right? You can come back home, and whatever Android or whatever devices that you've got is got this OS running, you can resume from where you left off, right? Even if it is going on your smart fridge, right? You got that little tablet, you can carry on reading from there,
Right.
right? And
So what you're saying is that the Google services is it the Google services you're talking about, or what
no,
are you?
it's not a Google service. It's basically a next level upgrade for Android, right? Android, like I said, is an experimental phase. They're doing everything they can do for creating this OS in the near future, and Android is just like a beta program for that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I don't want to get too carried on to that, kind of off
Yeah, I was about
topic.
to say I kind of got to
Um,
go, to be real with you guys.
It's cool.
all right, yeah, so it is definitely interesting to see Stadia bringing their tech to other companies. Maybe they will team up with PS Now. They may take the services to another company, a video game company. So it is interesting in regards to that. So it is time to wrap it up. So let's get into our outros, and let's start with Joker Gamer V3.
Yo, I appreciate you for inviting me back into the show, letting me say my piece. It was great talking to you, and it feels good, man, to have this kind of a connection going on, just so I'd be able to express my opinions and in taking your opinions too, and better myself with certain things, and hopefully my insights will also provide some kind of information or knowledge for people who are watching this video. So it's the same thing, and it was great talking to you again, Windu, as usual. And
Same.
thank you all. And if you ever guys want to follow me or anything like that, as you can see throughout the whole entire show, you got this little pop-up banner that keep popping up there, so go ahead and add me on that or follow me on that, whatever. But yeah, thank you again. Appreciate it, Krow.
All right, definitely for sure. And let's go with WinduTheMace.
I mean, same. I appreciate the invite, man. I gotta say, man, like I thoroughly enjoy these talks. I really, really look forward to them. And at the end of the day, quite frankly, after this talk, I really don't see a purpose for a Steam Deck. So that's a rip. But thank you for having me, and look forward to seeing you down the road.
All right, definitely. And if you guys are tuning in this far, you guys are the MVPs, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and catching the podcast. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Theslykrow or Theslykrow. That's with the K. And yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time. And this is your boy Krow signing off. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.